Okay, we're going to look at number sense, fractions, for our final video here on division of fractions. And when we look at division, we actually get a interesting case where we find that mathematically we cannot really divide by a fraction. And we really can't ever do that. So what we're going to find is that there is a special relationship that is going to help us, and that is to multiply by the inverse, or the reciprocal, we're going to call that. So let's look at an example and see if this helps make sense a little bit. If I divide 8 by the number 2, that's equal to 4. Very simple division problem. But remember, if we're talking about dividing by 2, we're talking about fractions. So let's imagine 2 is a fraction, and as a fraction, it's 2 over 1. So if I can't divide by a fraction, how would I divide by 2? Well, to do that, we multiply by the inverse. Okay, so change division to multiplication and flip that 2 over 1. Flip it upside down and flip the numerator and the denominator to get 1/2. 8 times 1/2, or 1/2 of 8, is equal to 8 over 1, 8 over 2, or 4 over 1, which is also equal to 4. So we get the same answer if we divide by a number or multiply by the inverse or reciprocal of that number. That is the same thing as dividing. So we can use that. That can help us if I want to divide 5/8 by 1/8. Then what I do is I find the reciprocal. I flip or find the inverse of that second fraction. The one, instead of 1 over 8, I make it 8 over 1. And I keep the first fraction the same. Don't forget, the first fraction stays the same. Don't flip both of them. But then I move down and I change that division into multiplication. Okay? And when I do that, now I have a multiplication problem. Now I can multiply 5 times 8 and 8 times 1. And then I get 40 over 8. And 8 will go into 40 5 times. So the answer is 5. So to do division with fractions, we find the inverse or the flip of the second fraction, and we change it to a multiplication problem, which we already have rules for and we can work with. Okay? Remember, it's multiplying by the reciprocal. Multiply, the reciprocal is the second fraction turned upside down.